So there was a point in my life in which I dim my light to appease other people, right? When you sort of look back, when you sort of look back at your past self, and you kind of feel a bit ashamed, kind of feel a bit cringe sometimes, right? That's how I feel every time I sort of look back at my past self, right? And this is not to say you should look back at your past self and feel ashamed, right? Because the only reason why you're right here in this moment or wherever you are in your life is because of your past self, right? And your past mistakes and so on and so forth. But when I look back at that point in my life, I began to realize that the reason why I dim my light for other people was really because of fear, right? It was because of the fear that, that my light would sort of make other people feel inferior or feel as if they're not good enough. Or it was the fear that, a lot of people wouldn't accept me, right? And I wouldn't be accepted. I remember going through school, and this is not to brag or anything, it's just my story. Remember going through school throughout my years in school, and I would always be pretty much at the top of my class, right? Pretty much at the top of everything academically. But I began to realize that people around me used to feel inferior. People around me used to sort of feel, I guess, off-put by my success in school. And it got to a point in which I felt ashamed because of my light. I felt ashamed of my success, right? And it got to a point in which I even stopped celebrating myself. It got to a point in which I stopped feeling good about myself because I believed that me actually doing well and celebrating my victories and my success in school would sort of mean that I was undermining other people. It sort of meant that to some degree I felt like I was superior to other people, right? Even though that wasn't true at that time or in that moment. But then, I got to a place in which I started to question myself. I started to ask myself, why am I suppressing myself? Why am I dimming my light just to make other people feel good? Why am I dumbing myself down just so someone else can feel good about myself, right? Can feel good about themselves, I should say. And I began to realize that it wasn't my responsibility to make them feel good. I began to realize that ultimately, them feeling good about themselves, them walking in their own light, was their responsibility. So I shouldn't feel the need to dumb myself down. I shouldn't feel the need to dim my light just so they can feel good. Ultimately, it is their responsibility to walk in their light, not mine, not no one else's, but theirs. It was their responsibility to show up and walk in their light so that they can feel good about themselves, right? And I think we live in a society that sort of wants us to fit in. And the biggest way for everyone to fit in, is for everyone not to stand out, right? And if you look at the world right now, most people really aren't walking in their light. If you look at the world right now, very few people are walking in the light that they're meant to walk in. A lot of people are sitting on gifts. A lot of people are sitting on talents. A lot of people are sitting on ideas. A lot of people are sitting on, things that could really change the world and change their lives. But because they fear that their light is going to cause other people to feel inferior, because they are afraid that their light is going to somehow shine and other people are going to feel a certain type of way, they dim their light and they dumb themselves down just to fit in and just so they can be accepted. But if you're watching this video right now and you've been dumbing yourself down, you've been dimming your light just because you don't want others to feel inferior, or just because you want to fit in, or just because you're afraid of what other people are gonna think of you, stop doing it. It's not your responsibility to make others feel good about themselves. It's their responsibility to walk in their light. You didn't come into this world to fit in. You came into this world to stand out. And the only way you're going to stand out is if you walk in your light. If you walk in the light that you were meant to walk in when you came into this world. Right? You're not meant to conform to anyone. Right? And very often, it's not even strangers that, I guess, sort of push us in the direction of dimming our light and dumbing ourselves down. Sometimes it's even the people closest to us, right? Sometimes it's our own closest family and closest friends who sort of begin to, I guess, pass negative remarks when they see you walking in your light and getting yourself outside your comfort zone and doing certain things that you've always wanted to do. Sometimes it's the people closest to us. And very often, you have to understand this, most people have spent so much time dumbing themselves down and living in fear, that when they see you actually getting outside your comfort zone and doing things that you were afraid of doing and walking in your light, they sort of begin to feel offended. They begin to feel jealous and feel a certain type of way, and so they're trying to keep you in that cage and keep you in that box and pass certain remarks just so that you can dumb yourself down, right? But you can't listen to anyone. You can't listen to anyone's negativity and cause yourself to stay in that cage for the rest of your life. You can't listen to people and cause yourself to not walk in your light. You have to walk in your light. You have to let your light shine so bright that it inspires people to walk in theirs. Even the people who are doubting you. Even the people who want to keep you confined to that cage. You have to walk in your light so much that it begins to inspire people. The world doesn't need more people who just conform. The world doesn't need more people who are living in fear and are trying to fit in. The world doesn't need more NPCs, right? The world needs people who aren't afraid to walk in their light. That's what the world needs the most in this moment. If you look at the world right now, our world is in need of a drastic change. Our world is in need of, people who show up as light, firstly to themselves, but to other people. And you are meant to be that. You don't know how that thing that you've been holding yourself back from doing is going to change the world. You don't know how, my allergy is killing me today. You don't know how that gift that you're holding back, that talent that you're holding back, that idea that you're holding back, could inspire a great change. You never truly know. But how can the world truly benefit from your gift? How can the world benefit from your light if you're holding yourself back? Right? How can you truly make change not only in your life but in the life of other people if you're trying to conform, if you're dimming your light and dumbing yourself down? You didn't come into this world for that. Every single one of us came into this world with a light that we were meant to ignite. Right? Every single one of us. But the world teaches us to sort of conform. The world teaches us that, we were sort of meant to fit in or fit a certain paradigm. And then you have so many forces, even the people closest to you, who want to keep you in that cage. But you can't grow if you keep yourself in a cage. The cage might seem like comfort. The cage might seem like you have company in that cage because most people are in that cage. But ultimately, that's not where growth lies. Ultimately, that's not where self-mastery lies, right? Self-mastery and growth and expansion requires us to get ourselves outside of our comfort zone and truly begin to ignite that flame. Truly begin to ignite the light that is within us. That's what self-mastery is. And so as long as you keep dumbing yourself down to fit in, or you feel as if you walking in your light is going to offend other people, you're only preventing yourself from truly living the life that you are meant to live. You're only preventing yourself from experiencing, all the abundance that life has to offer you. Right? You're only doing that. Now more than ever, the world needs our light. I made a video recently, and in the video I said that what the world truly needs to change is love, right? Starting with ourselves, starting with us on an individual basis, and then collectively that change within us is going to sort of shift the world. And I think your light is part of your love, right? Your authenticity, right? Your purpose, your mission, your idea, all of it is part of the love that you are meant to spread in the world, right? And so as long as you suppress that aspect of yourself, you're sort of suppressing an aspect of your nature, of your being, right? A lot of people in this world are unhappy because all they're doing is conforming. A lot of people are unhappy because there's so much light, there's so much love, there's so much that wants to be expressed, but they keep it in a cage and they hold it in. And so they feel unhappy because you're not in alignment. But the moment you let that inner light shine, the moment you let that inner light go, right? And it's not so much you're letting it go because you're so focused on the success, right? The success and all of that will come of its own. But you're letting it go simply because it's an expression of who you are. That's when we truly begin to sort of come into alignment. That's when we truly begin to sort of rediscover our happiness and our joy and our peace and our love, right? Even when I'm making these videos, right? I don't have a bunch of subscribers. I don't have a bunch of people watching my videos. But it is a part of my expression, right? It is a part of my light. It's a part of my being. And me doing this is way bigger than just success and making money. Me doing this is something that I came into this world to do. I came into this world to be a light, and so did you, right? No one is better than anyone, right? No one is above anyone. And once you begin to realize this, you begin to sort of encourage other people to walk in their light, and you walk in yours, because you have to understand, or you sort of begin to understand, that this world isn't going to change, just based on one person. In order for this world to change, it requires a collective. It requires people who are willing to stand up and stand out. That's what the world truly needs to change, right? And so if you sit down and you dumb yourself down, you dim your light just to fit in, just to not make your family or your friends feel inferior, you're devoiding yourself of a large portion of the experience that you're meant to experience, right? You're devoiding yourself of the abundance that life has to offer you. And you're sort of, not only that, but you're sort of devoiding the people who were meant to receive your light in this world. You're taking that light away from them. You never truly know how your words might even change someone's life. You never truly know how you deciding to do that thing that's been on your heart to do is going to impact someone's life and create a sort of domino effect to inspire even more people's life, right? One small act of courage, one small act of love, one small act of generosity One small act of any type of positivity can be the catalyst to create a significant change in this world, right? So don't undermine yourself, and don't dim your light just because other people think it shines too bright. Ultimately, it's on them to recognize that they have the same degree of light within themselves. Ultimately, it's on them to begin to walk in their light, right? It's not your responsibility. It's not your responsibility to make people feel good about themselves, right? You're feeling good about yourself and confidence and self-love. Those things are internal works that we ultimately have to do for ourselves, and no one can do it for us. But you conforming, you dumbing yourself down, you dimming your light is only going to prevent you from living the life that you ultimately want to live and inspiring the people you are meant to inspire, right? Start walking in your light. If you have people in your life who are trying to hold you back, if you have people in your life who are deterring you from walking in your light, then you might have to reconsider your relationship with those people. Not everybody that you share blood with is family. Not everybody that you're friends with are true friends, right? True family and true friendship, it goes beyond just blood. It's a bond. It's wanting to see the best for someone else, right? I think even the other day I was sort of experiencing what it truly means to love even more. And I'm starting to realize that me loving someone is me wanting the best for them, right? Irrespective of whether or not I get the best, right? When I look at the people in my life who I love, sometimes I look at them and I say to myself, if I don't get the success that I desire, if I don't get the love that I desire, if I don't get the life that I desire, that's okay. But I want the best for you, and I want you to get the life that you ultimately want to live and want to get, right? Right? That's what true love is. Love is when you don't sort of demand anything from anyone. Love is when you truly want to see the best for someone else, even if you don't get that best for yourself. To me, that's what it is, right? That's when you truly love somebody. And so if you don't have people like that around you, then it's truly better to be alone. You want people who support you. You want people who pour into you. You want people who encourage you to be the light that you're meant to be. You're not supposed to be around people who want you to dim your light and dumb yourself down so that they can feel good about themselves. That's not your responsibility. That's theirs. So yeah, that's it for this video. It's probably not even that long of a video, but nevertheless, like I said, never dim your light, never dumb yourself down just because other people think it shines too bright. You are meant to be a light. You are a light, and you have to recognize that you have something special to give to this world. And every time you deter yourself from walking in your light, you're not only devoiding yourself from having that experience of abundance that you are meant to have, but you're devoiding a lot of people who are in the darkness right now who need your light, right? No more than ever, the world needs people who can first be a light unto themselves and be a light unto others. Peace and blessings.